Hey, I want to tell you about our son, Leith Burton, who was 5 years old when we moved here to Valencia, Spain in 2016. Okay, because I know a lot of people are worried about language, about can your kids learn? You worry for your kids. That's great. You're a good parent. Kids are sponges. You ain't got to worry about them. They're going to be fine. Okay, so Leith had started kindergarten. We moved in mid-October of 2016. He had had a couple of months of kindergarten learning the ABCs. So he didn't know how to read in English. And we got to Spain, and he learned how to read in Spanish. He learned the Spanish alphabet. He learned Valenciano alongside of all of that. And so by the time he's in his second summer here, we're back in Texas for a visit. He spent the summer playing some Mario video game where you do a lot of reading. And he, because he's brilliant, but also because he's just a kid and he's a sponge and he doesn't know he can't do stuff. He doesn't know he's supposed to be afraid. He taught himself how to read in English phonetically from knowing Spanish and Valenciano. Okay? So you don't have to worry too much about your kid. You want to take care of him. You want him to feel safe. And most of all, what we did with him was just encourage him and say, look, you're learning Spanish. We live in a different place. Look, we went and did this thing. We do that thing. We just have a good time. And you don't worry about it. Then let him be a kid. You know, kids don't know how to read. They didn't know, a baby didn't even know how to talk or speak a language. And he doesn't read a book to learn how to do it, right? So I just want to encourage you, don't worry about that stuff, okay? Do your research. Try to pick a great place to live. Try to pick a school that you think is going to work for you, all of that. But you don't have to worry about your kids too much. But flip side of that story, a couple of years into it, we start to realize that he is struggling with math and certain things. And we come to do some testing and find out that he's got dyscalculia. And we happen to be, not that I'm knocking public schools or any school system, it's hard to be a teacher, but he was in a school, the public school system, in which most of the teachers that he was having at the time were on the cusp of retirement. They had come from an older system. They didn't know as much about dyslexia, the types of dyslexia and all those things. So we kept being told, he's not dyslexic. He doesn't pass the test fail the test for dyslexia. I don't know if you pass it or fail it to know if you have it. He's not. And really they just thought he was lazy, which he's maybe a little bit lazy, but he's also really bright, and industrialized schooling just doesn't work for him. So we really struggled for a couple of years trying to get them to understand what he was dealing with. It honestly reminded me of being in school in the 80s in Lockhart, Texas, where they wanted us to work on our handwriting. We were doing cursive. There was a lot of this stuff going on at the time in their schools, especially in the younger grades, the primaria. And so there was a big frustration for a couple of years. They worked with us. We worked hard. We sat for a long time every day after school with him at the table, working on calligraphy, working on his handwriting, working on math, and all of that stuff. And it was frustrating, hard for him and hard for us and hard for his teachers because, respect. But then it comes a year where he got a new teacher fresh out of university who had new learnings and understood what he was going through, and it totally changed his outlook and what was going on with it. So it's not about the language. It's not about necessarily where you are. You're going to have to cope with these sort of things no matter where you're living. So I just want to ease your mind and tell you, don't be so concerned about your kid learning Spanish, or will Valenciano, detract from learning Spanish. Come and be on an adventure and let your kids know you're on an adventure. Be concerned. You want them to be educated. You want them to have a bright future, right? But they're going to get that. They're going to do that because you're a wonderful person and a good parent. So you don't have to worry about that, okay? So that's it, man. I'm just, I was actually up last night wondering about them and worrying about their future and their school just because of grades, because of stupid grades. And I know my parents had the same worries about me. And I know while we were still living in the U.S., I had those same concerns. It's all the same. It's just in a different language. And that language you will learn and your kids will learn. And they'll learn it faster than you because they don't know that they're not supposed to be able to learn it. They haven't been told. They haven't been worn down like that to think, oh, this is hard. So, okay, you get me? You feel me? You can do it. Your kids can do it. Be encouraged. Be excited. Come on the adventure if you're looking for the adventure. Don't be foolish. Do your research. Do your diligence. But you can do it. All right? Peace.